Hello, this is the Netman with a video tutorial on how to use and operate Oracle VirtualBox. Great program and it's free. Download it from virtualbox.org and install. I will not have a video on that, so you will need to figure that out on your own. But I will show you how to use it. Here is the VirtualBox manager. This is the program you use to open and utilize the actual VMs. As you can see, I could hit the start and it would open it. So let's start out with creating our own. We're going to click next to this. We're going to give the name to it. So we're going to use the Ubuntu one. We'll use the desktop version of 12.04. Test 4. I use this for my own naming purposes. Video. So as you can see, it already identified that we're going to be using Linux and Ubuntu just from typing. We're going to click next. We're going to set the memory limit. I'm going to set a gig. We're going to create a startup disk. This does not matter according to how if you ever want to open up the VHD. I use VHD because in Windows 7 you can actually mount the VHD and open up and look at the files as is. You can use the VDI, VMDK, or HDD. I use VHD for the only purpose of being able to mount it. I usually do dynamically, the dynamic. You can also do fixed. It also does take longer, but you will not be able to shrink this. So, yeah, I do dynamic. You can say where you want to save it. I save mine in my own VHD hard drives file area. So we're going to click save on that, and you can change the size. So I want to make it 10. Click create for the virtual disk, and then we will hit create for the actual VM. As you can see, now it's at the bottom of the list, so let's modify some of the settings before we continue. So we have our basic, which the name and all that. We already saw that. You can also have a snapshot folder, where if you'd like to make quick snapshots of that, you can do that. Clipboard, on how if you copy something from your system, the main system, it will go into the VM. The description, if you'd like to write one. The motherboard, how you want the boot in order to work. The chipset, this is the default, and usually you should just use this one. And the extended features will change depending on the system you choose, but you can as well change them yourself. You can change how many virtual processors you have and the max that the processor will run for the VM. If you have a processor that can enable the Intel VT-X or the AMD B, go ahead and do that. It makes virtualization much better when the processor supports it. You can change how much video RAM there is. I only use 12, but because of the new system for Ubuntu, the Unity desktop, I'm going to change that to 32, and I'm going to enable 3D acceleration after I install the guest tools. You have your storage controllers. You can have an SATA, IDE. You can have an audio. I'm going to disable that because I don't want audio. And then we have our network adapter settings. It is attached to NAT. That means it gets its own private address from your connection. What this means is it can view the internet and stuff, but other computers in your network cannot access it. If we were to do bridged adapter, it will pull an address from, say, your DHCP, or you can set one yourself, and this would allow it to be accessible from the network. It is essentially another machine, it looks like. This is very good for servers. This one, the NAT, is just good for desktop trialing. The internal network is if you want to just have an internal network within your own computer. Host only adapter will communicate with other VMs that you run, and it will set up its own virtual network, just like a switch kind of, so they can't communicate with others. For this purpose, I'm going to use bridge adapter. You can enable a serial port, USB settings on how the controller works, and share folders. It pretty much simulates a network drive on the guest system. So now that we've customized our settings, we're going to start it up. We're going to come up with this screen, the first run. We're going to tell where the OS, the iOS, or the CD image is. And as you can see, I have it right here. So we're going to do open, and next, and start. As you can see, here is the VM screen. You can close this screen out at any time when the VM is open. It will not close the VM. Alright, so the virtual machine is booting. I'm going to pause the video until it has booted. Alright, the system has booted. So now we're going to install Ubuntu. It acts just like it is, a regular computer connected to the, you're using a regular computer. So setup procedure is exactly the same as if you were to do this on a physical computer. I'll run through the installation tools, the installation, and then I'm going to pause the video to let that install, and we'll come back right afterward, after it has installed. Alright, as the install happens, I'm going to pause the video until it is done. Alright, the system has finished the installation, and I'm going to show you what it looks like to restart a VM. So we're going to hit restart. And the system pretty much, oh yeah, the change in the Windows settings is because it can adapt. We need to unmount the disk, so we're going to hit enter, and that is the boot screen. This is also how you would mount drives and stuff. You can choose ISOs or any other image files. You can mount USB devices, shared folders, and all that. Now, here is the Ubuntu desktop, and here's the program. And this is what it does. It allows us to run other operating systems on top of another one. I find this very useful for being able to try out other systems and try out other new technologies without affecting or without me taking the risk of putting it on another computer. And it comes in handy a lot. Really does. So, just like any other system, we can do regular functions and tasks like we would be able to do in Ubuntu on, say, a regular computer. So we can open up any links, say like Google or Bing. We can open that up as well. And we can do almost everything else that we would have been able to do. It works quite nicely. And to shut it down, we're just going to shut down. And it will close by itself. Thank you for watching our video tutorial on how to use and create VMs from using Oracle VM VirtualBox.